This is Rogers TV.
Welcome to Pocket Universe. My name is Darren Hann. On today's show, we have Phil Swift, sword fighting, Charlie Murphy, Toonfest, and Stephen Churchill tells us all about Legos. Make sure you stick around. And I'd like to welcome to the show historical fencer Phil Swift. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Historical fencing, Phil.
Yes.
Explain it to us, please.
It's a bit exotic, I must say.
Yeah.
But what it is martial arts nowadays, you learn from someone who learned from someone who learned from someone. So it kind of gets watered down a little bit.
Right.
Whereas historical fencing, which is totally different from modern fencing, we use real swords, real close to real swords.
Yep.
And what we do is we dig up all these old manuals that these masters in 12th century to 16th century has left behind. And we translate those manuals into English or whatever language we practice, and then we try to interpret from those manuals. So we're trying to get close to the root to how they used to fence and not how it's kind of gamed or made into a sport today.
So you're going right back to the roots of the sport.
Correct.
When it actually was probably not a sport, but an actual martial art way of life.
Correct, yes.
Wow. How did you get involved with it?
I started in Michigan. I actually wanted to do some modern Olympics fencing with the wife, and at the time they weren't taking any more students.
Right.
So I stumbled upon what is called the SCA, Society of Creative Anachronism.
Yes, yeah.
And they were just fencing with big rapiers, real swords out in the field.
Yes.
And that drew my attention right away, and that eventually led to HEMA, which is Historical European Martial Arts.
Okay.
Yes.
That is amazing. What are some of the different types of, or different categories, would you call it, or different subjects, or different forms of it?
So it's funny you say that because, you know, nowadays, if you go to martial arts, you have Kung Fu, Taekwondo,
Yes.
Karate, you have all these different forms.
Right.
In Europe, they pretty much had that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you have German longsword, you have Italian longsword, and depending on which Italian master, they might teach that differently and have their own style to it. And the same with rapier. The Italians were famous for rapier fighting, rapier and dagger,
Yeah.
whereas the Spanish used the rapier just single-handedly without a dagger.
Okay.
So,
And you have a school here in St. John's.
correct, yes.
Tell us the name of the school and a little bit about it.
The school's called Terra Nova School of Swords.
Yeah.
Named it after Newfoundland. Its original name was Terra Nova, so
That's
I
right,
figured I'd go back and use the old
Yeah.
name. And I came up with this school, and our programs we offer is longsword, Spanish rapier, we have Highland broadsword, we have French small sword as well,
Yeah.
and we also have LED sabers for the kids and the youths.
So LED sabers,
Or
a non-trademark name for lightsabers.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
All right. So we've got some different models here. Just probably pick one up and show us a little about each one.
This one here is the.
There we go.
This one here is the long sword.
Yep.
In Hollywood, it seems like it would be huge, but it's actually really isn't. Now, this one weighs about 2.5. Historically,
Right.
they could weigh about 3 to 3.5. However, Hollywood tends to make it look like it weighs 50 pounds.
Of course, yes.
But realistically, if you were a soldier and this was what was given to you, or this is what your family heirloom was,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to march across, from Italy to Germany with something that weighs 50 pounds.
No, that's right.
So you want something that weighs about 2.5 pounds,
Yep.
because it's going to be stuck to your hip, right? Now we have this one in particularly is the Spanish rapier, and the difference is it's got a shortened grip because it allows you to make circular motions a little bit easier,
Yep.
and it has a bowl guard. Because it's very protective on the fingers, because fingers and hands was an easy target for the rapierists. And the Italian guard is much more like it's got a swept hilt, it's
Right.
got a little bit of a longer grip. This one here is actually very tip weighted. So
Okay.
the Spanish, they like to thrust and cut at the same time. So these rapiers, although they look slender, they can actually cut tatami, which would be close to someone's limb, per se.
Okay.
Whereas the Spanish rapier is more pointy, thinner, and it's meant only for thrusting.
But now all the swords,
Yes.
proper name for them?
Yes, swords.
Say weapons. But all the swords that you have in the school,
Yes.
there's no chance of anyone getting hurt.
No chance of anyone getting hurt. These bend really well,
Yep.
and they're all blunted.
They're all blunted,
yeah, they're all blunted trainers, and they weigh a little bit less than the original, just because it's a little bit safer.
Sure, yeah.
And we wear these bomb suits to protect ourselves as well. They're puncture resistant rated, so
I
in
also
case
noticed
of
there's a little tip on the end. Is that normal for all?
Yes, oh yes, we got the rubber tip here, and
Yeah.
that's to help it spread out the impact
Yeah.
versus impact on a fine point.
The reason I'm getting to the safety is that in case if anybody wants to come and try, it's like, you're not going to get cut, you won't get hurt, you just go,
Of course, yes, and we wear neck gorgets, and this is all steel,
okay,
plated over each other, so
Yeah.
it's even reinforced.
right,
And then you have your helmets as well, so
okay.
yes.
So if someone's interested in coming to your school, do you have anything, like where you just opened up, do you have anything going on right now that people can come and
Yes,
give a try?
absolutely. We have a trial program where folks can come in for $20, try it out, see if they like it, and they'll know in the first class or so. Exactly, yes. And we have all the loaner gear for people to use too, because
That
I
was
know
my next question, yeah.
it's an expensive sport, just like fencing, right?
Yeah.
So we
And you
try
have
to
all
make
that there, so do they rent the clothes separate, or is that provided within the rental?
it is provided, and we spray everything down after use and dry it
Okay.
out and everything before
Yeah.
someone else use it. So
Sure, yeah.
it's always, we're very COVID friendly and taking
Yeah.
care of each other that way.
Now, just go over your classes again really quick, if you could.
Yeah, sure. So we have a Italian longsword.
Yeah.
We have a Spanish rapier. We have French small sword and Highland broadsword as well.
Highland broadsword. Now, one thing that you've never mentioned, which I think is cool,
Yeah.
you never mentioned anything about age,
Yes.
or male or female, so everyone's welcome.
Yes, everyone's welcome. This weapon here is, or this trainer here,
Yep.
is the equalizer. So it doesn't
Okay.
matter if you're female, male,
Young or old, doesn't-
young or old.
everybody.
Yes, we do have a minimum age requirement, and that would be for the historical weapons,
Yep.
16 and up.
Right, okay.
For the LED sabers is about 8 and up.
Oh, I gotta reach down and get this one now because he fell on the floor. So this is our LED saber.
Yes, this is our LED saber. This is a great intro for kids and youths to
Yeah.
kind of get into historical martial arts.
Right.
I teach everything in longsword with this.
Yeah.
So they're actually getting a martial arts, because I know some parents ask, like, is this martial arts or is this just
Something from
some tricks, like
Some-
teaching
yeah,
them tricks?
exactly,
Or
yeah, yeah.
We do teach some tricks just to keep their interest going.
Right.
But majority of the lessons are all longsword lessons, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
So for the LED class, what's the minimum
Yes.
age for that?
Minimum age for this will be 8 plus.
8+, okay.
Yes, and we have family classes for daughter and dad, or daughter
Nice.
and mom
Yep.
to come in and try it out together.
Nice.
And that way they keep them in their COVID bubble, and
Yep.
everybody is safe.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So Phil, again, how can someone contact your school if they're interested?
They can reach me on our website.
Yeah.
You can go to maritimeswordschool.com.
Yeah.
If you just Google Terra Nova School of Swords, our
Yeah.
booking page will pop up right away.
Okay.
And we have a Facebook group on Terra Nova School of Swords as well on our Facebook group.
Excellent,
Yes.
sir. Well, thank you for coming in today and telling us all about
Historical fencing.
historical fencing. So if you want to find out more about historical fencing, contact Phil. Big thank you to Phil for being here today. Next up, Charlie Murphy with Toonfest. And I'd like to welcome Charlie Murphy with Toonfest to the show. Welcome, sir.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Charlie, tell us all about Toonfest.
Sure, so Toonfest, much like any other independent film festival, is all about getting individuals involved and invested in another art medium. So as the name suggests, we're all about animation and tunes. So whether that be stop motion, puppetry, 3D, classical, any of those kind of forms, it's all about just coming together and understanding the art medium and what it could be. Meaning it could be in different genres, so you could do a horror thing in animation, you could do a sci-fi thing in animation, and it's all about workshops, coming together to talk about our common interests, and just getting people really involved in loving animation.
Who runs Toonfest?
So myself and 3 others, so Julie from Sassy Tuna, Curtis from Stellar Boar, and Janice, who is a teacher here at the local college, is also part of it, and we basically came together to just kind of get everyone interested in animation.
That is excellent. Who came up with the idea?
So it was kind of a joint thing. So I moved here from Halifax in 2009 for my job, which was around animation. I worked for a local studio, an ed tech startup that does Zorbert's Math Adventure. And from that, my teacher, who was Julie at the time when I was in school, also was still here in the province making animation and stuff with kids. So we kind of started talking about it. And of course, Curtis, who has an animation studio, they were really interested in the idea. So we all just kind of like came together and started pooling our different thoughts and our experiences to see like how we could make something happen. And then of course with Janice, who is with Kona, also has a great connection with students. So it was the idea of just getting people invested in animation, getting them to see what's local and how they can still work here in the province. Because as everyone knows, like a lot of people leave the province to explore their interests or their passions or their dreams, when really it can all be done locally.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. Now, you've already had one event.
Yes, we did.
And when was this?
So that was in March of this year.
Which is within COVID year.
Oh, within the COVID year, this is true. So it was in 2020, or 2021, sorry,
2021,
and March 28th. It was just past March. It was great. We had over 900 viewers on our actual, like, when it actually came to the actual piece, watching it as it was going. But in the actual Zoom call, we had about 40 to 50 people. But then we've kept viewing it, and more people have seen it, and more people are loving it. Yeah.
Is it up online now, so you can still see it?
Funny enough, it was for a bit, but because the way that we had someone from speaking about the Mandalorian's effects and their work with that show, it kind of got pulled because, of course, certain people don't like their media or their characters being shown, and it got pulled.
Oh, okay, cool. So what plans do you have like going forward for Toonfest?
Yeah, so we're hoping basically afterwards is incorporate more of an organization, so get some individuals to kind of look at a board structure. So in the sense of having someone looking after finance or history or those kind of pieces, go after funding, and then kind of keep the core 4 of us that are just having fun with the field and the industry, just kind of keep doing that of the planning, but we don't really want to do the whole finding the funding and all those pieces. So hopefully people will come on board and support it in those kind of ways.
So are you looking at setting it up as like a non-for-profit group? Is that where you're going with it? Or
kind of. There's different venues and different ways that we can go and avenues we can go. But I know with other festivals, they do have non-for-profit, and some others are just kind of grassroots and more so that kind of way. So it all depends on what's best for the group. So right now we're still talking about that. And there's no definite like we're doing it this way or another way yet.
So for next year's event now, what are you looking at for that? You've got anything planned yet, like a location you're looking at, or any guests, or
Not
any
yet.
special events for it?
Not yet, but we're definitely open if anyone's out there and wants to be part of this new kind of festival and has ideas to please reach out to us. But we're definitely going to be probably pooling back into like our contacts and seeing who they might want to have come forward. Because with last year, with Janice was a really good connection with a lot of great talent. They were basically the individuals who kind of like pulled from their pool of people to step up. So hopefully more people see that and want to be part of it and kind of voice that they want to be part of it.
Just tell us again a little bit about the different types of animation.
Sure.
Or different types of tunes at Toonfest.
Yeah, so I mean, like there's classical animation, so just that's paper and pencil, just drawing. And then there's 3D, so of course that's on things like Maya or Blender or other 3D programs. There's claymation that people can get into. There's stop motion.
So claymation, that's like some of the shows coming out of Britain, Wallace and Gromit,
Yeah, exactly.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And stop motion, that was like the way years and years ago, the way some of these special effects for Star Wars was done.
Exactly, or like, you know, those Christmas holiday kind of specials that everyone's into.
Oh yes,
or
yes, I remember those. The
Right?
Rudolph and they used to come
Frosty
on.
and-
Frosty and
Yeah.
Rudolph. What was the one I used to love? What was Buddy? The
the
big.
Heat Miser and
Yes,
yeah.
those guys, Heat Miser and all those
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
They were all stop motion.
They were, yeah.
And I think, what was it, 24 frames per second?
Yeah, so that's basically the
Yep.
standard for animation is 24 frames per second, but
Yep.
sometimes too it's like 39.95 or 30 frames per second, all
Yep.
depending on what you want to do. So normally when it comes to 2D animation, it's
Yep.
you hold a frame for 2 seconds or for 2 times for every single image. So that's where the 24 frames come into. So
Yep.
for a second or 24 frames, it's the whole 12 drawings.
Okay,
Yeah,
that is so interesting.
it's really, really fun.
Have you done much of it yourself?
Yeah, so I basically, when I first moved here, I was doing it for 12 years here. I
Yeah.
went to school for it in Halifax, and it's something I'm still very passionate about. I still love drawing. I still like looking at animation. When I see rough animation or line art, that's where I feel really kind of like motivated or passionate to look at it because it's the rawness of it. Nothing's perfect or shined up or polished. It's the raw lines on paper.
Now, what do you mean by line art? Just give us, in case someone don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking
so
about.
line art basically just being like drawings, like straight up just 2D drawings on a piece of paper. No ink, no color,
No.
no cleanup. You can still see all the construction underneath the lines. Like just the really raw, bare bones of it is amazing to look at.
It is. It is. Now, if someone wants to find out more about Toonfest or get in contact with you guys, how would they do it?
So they can check out our Facebook page. They can
Yep.
just look up SJ Toonfest. They can find us on Instagram the same way.
Yep.
And on either one of those accounts, you'll find our email.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming in and telling us about Toonfest.
Awesome, anytime.
We'll be right back. If you have comments or guest ideas for Pocket Universe, please email darren.pocketuniverse@gmail.com. We're very excited for Toonfest. Thanks, Charlie. Up next will be Stephen Churchill telling us all about Legos. And I'd like to welcome Stephen Churchill with Newfound Lug.
Nice to meet you, Darren.
Did I get it right?
You did get it right,
Good.
Newfound Lug.
Newfound Lug.
I'm the president and one of the founding members of Newfound Lug.
Tell us how Newfound Lug got started, please.
It actually got started when somebody here in town, John Gillingham, opened the Bricks and Minifigs Lego store.
Okay.
It's an unofficial store, and of course, obviously, Lego fans gathered there, and a couple of them got together and decided they were going to join together and form a group to talk about Lego, talk about the little plastic brick that we all fell in love with.
Oh my God, everybody does. Everybody loves it. How many members do you currently have?
We have about 50 active members. We
Wow.
had anywhere from 100 to 150 members that are drop in and drop out. But we have about 50 members that are active participants on our Facebook group, participate in challenges that we run every month, and just, like I said, stay active. So it's pretty good.
So now just go back. You say there's an actual, we have a store here in town that sells
We do have a
Legos.
store. It's called Bricks and Minifigs. It's not an official Lego store,
Right.
but they do only sell Lego and Lego-related products. It's a great place for someone like me.
Where are they located to?
They're located on Black Marsh Road.
Black Marsh Road. Excellent, excellent. And your group, so you've got quite a large following in your group. What goes on at a regular meeting?
We haven't had regular meetings for quite some time, as you might imagine. We've had a little bit of a damper on that in 2020 and 2021.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to ask later on how COVID affected your meetings and
We basically have not had a live. We had one outdoor meeting in 2020, and we're hoping to schedule some more outdoor meetings for the summer, and hopefully
Yep.
by the fall, maybe we'll be able to get back to in-person meetings.
Oh, that'd be great.
Generally at a meeting, we get together, talk about techniques. We might bring in a new build that we're working on. A lot of times, we'll end up gathered around the big bin of Lego that's at the store. That's where we used to have our meetings. Who knows going forward where we're going to have them. But, and just putting bricks together in new ways, trying to solve new problems or figure out new techniques to make things look different.
Now, you brought along something really impressive here today. This is
Thank you.
Cabot Tower.
This is Cabot Tower. This is about a 3-year project that I've been working on off and on for my own reasons, my own purposes. It's nobody serving nobody but myself.
Yeah.
It all actually started from a discussion at one of those meetings where somebody had said they tried to work on it and they couldn't figure out how to build these corners because the corners on Lego on the Cabot Tower are of course offset 45 degrees, and someone said, well, there's no way to do it in Lego. And of course, well, never tell me something's impossible because I'll have to go out and solve the problem. And that's, once I had that solved, well, I had to build the rest.
Build the rest. That is amazing.
So like I said, it's taken me about 3 years to get this far in phases. It's something I work off and on against. The tower was built first. Did some additions to that. Then last year, I actually brought it up to Signal Hill and took some pictures with it. They went a little bit viral. And since then, I've fixed the terrain, added the walls, the walkway, a lot more people. Just tried to bring in as many details. I can tell you 1,000 things I still need to fix on it. It's never going to be finished.
I don't think an artist is ever finished with their product.
No, absolutely not.
They just always want to keep working on it. How many pieces?
About 4,000. It's hard to say because it's been built in phases. 4,000 is about medium for some of our larger projects. We've got one person who built a 100,000 piece model of a container ship. It's 9 feet long.
That's impressive.
We've got someone else who built a village that's 6 feet by 9 feet, a medieval village that's considerably higher than 4,000 pieces. And again, probably neither one of them could tell you exactly how many pieces are in it.
That is amazing. Now with Legos, I guess everybody, there's no age limit, there's no beginning, there's no...
Absolutely not.
Everybody.
We have a limit in our group that we require adult membership. That's Lego's limitation, not ours. We're what we call AFALs, adult fans of Lego.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you why.
No.
Generally, for our own purposes, the people who run the group have always been adults. We've been sort of flexible about membership, just about that. But yeah, all ages, absolutely.
So all ages. As long as there's an adult there with them.
Exactly.
Gotcha, yeah. That is amazing work, I have to say. So what kind of kits are out there?
Oh my goodness, everything.
Everything.
You can build, this is not a kit, this is something that came out of my brain, I like to say.
Oh, so this is not an actual Lego kit?
This is not an actual Lego kit.
This is your own creation?
All loose Legos brought together. Some of the figures are from older kits, some of the older pirate sets, but most of them are just pieced together from one part or another. Buy a lot online, break up a lot of other sets for parts, stuff like that.
Where, like, I see a lot of kits, Lego kits out there. Where do the ideas for these come up with? Like, can anybody come up? Like, can you come up with an idea for a Lego kit?
There is a website where you can submit ideas to Lego.
Okay.
If you get a sufficient number of votes, Lego will consider them for designing a full retail set around them. They had 35 sets reach 10,000 votes the last time they did it, and only one of them went on to become a commercial set. So it's a very high bar that you have to get over to get in there. This here could probably get 10,000 votes in St. John's, but it probably would never reach official set status because it's of limited worldwide.
That's right.
Worldwide appeal. And Lego is, of course, a worldwide company.
Yeah. And especially where it's something just local to Newfoundland,
exactly.
A lot of people outside wouldn't know about it.
Probably a lot of people outside of town wouldn't bother with it.
What are some other sets that you purchased?
I'm a big Star Wars guy. The majority of my sets are Star Wars sets. I have some big 4-foot Star Destroyer set and stuff like that.
Wow.
This type of sets that Lego build nowadays come all over the map, from very simple children's sets that something a 3 or 4-year-old could put together, right up, as I said, to multi-thousand piece sets from Star Wars. Some of what they call the Technic sets are very, very technical builds. They're replicas of giant excavators and dump trucks and stuff like that. So it
Okay.
really is a hobby that anybody can get into.
So it's actually a hobby that you can start and stay with your whole life.
Absolutely.
You mentioned kids. Is there like different levels to it? Like, is it recommended, say, for like 5 and under, 5 to 10, 10 to 15?
There are ages on some of the official sets.
Yeah.
Some of the sets are, of course, what we call Duplo. Duplo are the much larger Lego with bigger
Oh,
studs.
yes, I've seen those,
The
yep.
core of this is actually made of those,
Yep.
just because it's easier to build up bulk that way.
Right.
But yeah, in general, if the kid can put it together, let him have it.
Okay. And how about like for difficulty on the sets? Is there
very much.
ratings for that?
Some of them are what they call their adult line.
Yep.
In general, I don't know that they have official ratings for them, and their ratings are always sort of fluid. I know we had one 12-year-old in our group for a while who was building very complicated sets.
Oh, wow. That is excellent. That is excellent. Well, if anybody wanted to get in contact with your group, how would they do it?
They can find us on Facebook,
Yep.
facebook.com/groups/newfoundlug. You can also look us up on the web at newfoundlug.ca.
Newfoundlug.ca. Well, sir, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks, Darren.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely.
And we'll be right back after this. Thanks to all our guests and to you for watching. Be sure to come back for the next episode of Pocket Universe. I'm going to go check out what's playing. So much more. That's it? Yeah. Yep. Yep. Oh, wow. Okay. And again. Like that. Like that. Oh, okay. Okay, let's do it again. All right. Charlie Murphy from Toonfest. I'm going to take Phil from being here. Okay. I want to take Phil. 3. I want to thank Phil for being here. Up next, Charlie Murphy from. Wait, please. Wait till I say Toonfest. We change it, yeah. Good thing to tell him. Oh, I love this. No, not action, no, wait, give me one.
The following program is brought to you by Rogers Anyplace TV. Enjoy exclusive content for free. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com.